you expend during the Big Ten tournament, which is grueling in itself, to get ready to play in the big boy tournament later in March.
As you know, those commercials take a little bit longer during the NCAAs. You get a little bit of a rest. Here's Brooks for three.
Giving Garza a few different looks now. He was able to go one-on-one that first time. That time, Brooks came late on the double team.
Crowd wanted to travel, no call. In the corner, Brandon Johns Jr. for Xavier Simpson. Here's Brooks. Back up top, Livers. Simpson alone in the corner. A couple times this year, Juwan Howard had to tell him to get out of the gym. Like, we need you to chill out a little bit. We need a run for the postseason. Boy, Teskey's looking sharp, isn't he? Has 7 early, always a good sign for the Scarlet Knights. Wagner trying for the answer. No.
For the finish.
Now Wagner. Gliding and hit it. Last 5 Penn State possessions. 0 for 3 from the floor and 2 turnovers. Brooks, beautiful wraparound.
Then how about the pass and heads-up play for Morcell, dropping it off for a lob to Smith inside.
Michigan began 3 out of 4. They've missed their last 4 since. Teskey using that body.
Understand how to get to their spots. Whether the defense can influence you or not, you don't allow that to happen. You operate at your own speed, and that time Cal with 2 dribbles splash right into a nice little 15-foot jump shot.
Teskey using his brawn.
Simpson on top. Liddell is now in. Livers goes inside. Davis against the freshman Liddell.
The winter season. He has been a total difference maker. I mean, with the injuries, with Kobe King leaving, you got a very short rotation. Micah Potter's been a godsend. 18 the other night against Rutgers.
But I still think Matt Perry needs to keep going to where he has had success in the past. And Travion Williams has been really good against Michigan. Livers, tough pass. Davis couldn't finish.
Strong guy, and he's got good quickness, particularly that second jump is really good.
Speaking of good, really,
ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and for
not for the faint of heart.
No, especially for a young freshman. Simpson. Nice tap out.
The veterans have to step up and say, you know what, okay, this is what we can do. We can play spoiler on senior night. Cheatham is the team's leader, just under 13 points a game. So Nebraska on that 14-game skid, but hanging in there tough early.
Teskey minutes as well, taking away some of those leak-out opportunities that Michigan enjoyed in the first half.
Teskey inside, going right back at Hera, and just like we talked.
Tough kid. See if he can weather the storm. Usually only 18 minutes a game.
Yeah, and that's up from where he was a year ago.
Good luck, Johns.
Who hit a 3 late in the first half, can't connect on this one.
Get it off the backboard. Where every cutter is being bumped on the way to the basket.
The guy the size of Teskey is going to post it up. See what Kovar's doing, kind of pushing him out a little bit.
Bounce pass above the waist, so Hera didn't have to dig down and get it.
14-0 run for Penn State. Teskey against Hera. And Teskey
getting 3 and 4 in its last 7 games through a grueling stretch after they started the season 7-0. One of the great early surprises in the country.
Same here. Terrific job with either hand.
Teskey can't hit with the left.
There's that sweep. Get to the other side of the rim. Here comes the ball screened by Teskey. They get the switch. Simpson open for 3.
Tuesday night in Lincoln, 16 points, 7 rebounds in 37 minutes.
And you know what's crazy, Kevin, is that on February 19th, Michigan goes to the rack.
This is
they come east again to play Rutgers.
This was a Michigan home game, and Wagner feeling
Second differential between the shot clock and the halftime clock. DeJulius. Teskey tips.
So two good possessions coming out by Michigan.
By the way, that was Maryland's first turnover in 10 minutes of playing time. Simpson from his hip.
Two teams that don't get to the line very much. It's a 13-point margin for Michigan. And Xavier Simpson for Teskey.
7 minutes gone by here in the second on Fox. Tim Brando, Jim Jackson, Andy Katz. Happy to have you with us. Livers in a post-up on Wiggins. Feeds Simpson for three.
Games, Franz Wagner, 17 points, almost 8 rebounds a contest. And the reigning Big Ten freshman of the week, and he wants more. Off.
Wagner. There's a
fouled it. Made the layup.
Simpson. Woo!
I spoke to him while he was working out before shoot-around today, and I said, you know, you're going to remember, you know, some good wins.
Wagner for the tie. Yes!
Michigan State in that fray as well. But again, for Maryland, new to this conference, it would be a seminal moment in Turgeon's career. Wagner.
Right there, Franz Wagner has played really well. They're going to try to get him in the post here, but they took the ball away. But there really isn't anywhere other than maybe Wagner or maybe back down here because of a switch.
Delivers the kick. Simpson for three.
You just put your hands up. If he beats you on the drive, he beats you. Get help, but you can't have your hands down.
Wisconsin now 6 for 13 from three-point range tonight. As Dan mentioned, they made 50 in their...
Castleton's minutes have been down the last handful of games with the rise of Austin Davis. Wagner gets open in the corner. And the out.
7-0 run for Maryland. Oh, great up and under. Well done.
On time, on target in order for it to be completed. And it wasn't, resulting into a turnover.
And the protege of Larry Brown would be quick to...
And then you get to 500, and you start thinking, if we drop under 500, there might not be any postseason in our future.
It's certainly a concern, and I think you could pick like 6 reasons.
50 ball situation has done a pretty good job corralling their share.
Looks on the curl.
As well as walk the walk. This is his 130th game, Jim, as a starter. If he continues on through the March Madness and gets past 136, he'll pass Steve Blake, of course, of that national championship team back in 2002 as a consecutive starter. What a wonderful young man who has emerged as a vocal leader, according to...
Basically a night. And that's when it became new. And it's still pretty good defense, but we're getting it down the floor and we're shooting.
Michigan got it down to 2, and then in the blink of an eye, Wisconsin got it back to 10.
3:30. Brandon Johns is checked in for Michigan, shape-shifting the lineups with DeJulius. Isaiah Livers back from injury and for Michigan.
Purdue needs more of Eric Hunter. The last 2 games he's dealt with foul trouble, but even more than that, just 2 assists and 6 turnovers. They need him to be active and efficient.
That's exactly what they gave him in the NCAA tournament. The
coaches get here third of the way of the season. They're going to change the name. He's been here already 4 years. This is 3-4 years. You can't just change something just because you show up as a head coach.
And then 2.
You know, sometimes the offensive player hit the defensive player, and the defensive player will push back, and they call the defensive players. That's a good call right there.
Simpson running the point, gets it to a cutting Brooks. Brooks!
Julius turns the corner hard down the lane. Big jump stop, fires, no.
Say hello, and now he's got your kind of juice.
Ooh, thank you. They called him Big Sleep.
This is the nickname the coaches get.
Didn't bite for any of the hesitation, the crossovers. Very good discipline that time by Wagner on defense.
Xavier Simpson underneath in the corner. Eli Brooks. Research, you find out. Helps raise awareness, and the coaches have been doing this for a long time, and it has been very successful.
And Coach Pat Chambers of the Penn State Nittany Lions at last year's Final Four received the National Collegiate Champion.
A gauntlet, and they've handled it really well. This Michigan team has played terrific basketball. Love the play right there. Hammer action for your shooter. Get him going.
Spark in the building now after that play by Johns. Austin Davis in for Teskey. How about that? Itself on the defense by Johns. Wagner cutting through the
chance to keep climbing because of the huge quad one opportunities that await them potentially in the Big Ten.
Delivers for Michigan.
Give and go, Simpson and Wagner, and Simpson.
Green can get very, very hot very quickly.
Indiana was 3 for 20 from 3 in the last meeting between these two teams. They've already made 3 in this first half. It's a 2-point game along the base.
It's going to take more than just that shoulder and to keep Austin Davis out of the game.
Xavier Simpson inside. Davis. Whoa!
Game's a year out.
It's on record. Dealing with Andy's numerous demands. Never easy. Simpson beating Johns.
They're doing a nice job in the high screen and roll. They're challenging shots.
Teskey backing down on Bashan-Shvili. Everything.
0-3 on the road in conference. They have led at the half in 2 of those 3 losses. They're going to try to close it out. Michigan not going to make it easy for them as Teskey going to work.
Big Ten battle. Terry Weimer, Rob Riley, Rob Kuhneman, the 3 on the whistle. Michigan coming off a loss Sunday at Minnesota. They played well early in that game, but gave up an 11-0 run that ultimately doomed them at a 3
points or fewer. Underway Michigan ball to begin the day at the Barn.
This is going to be a huge day for Minnesota's pick-and-roll defense. I know they're going to John Teskey and
the Wagner boys. It was
Wagner.
80.
That's right.
It was the Milt Wagner era then. It was 80 when Eves was the guy. 80 and 81. Tomajic, 6'10" red shirt by way of Spain. Getting some much needed for him play.
Mark, he's trying to give it.
When you watch Michigan now, are they, 80% Howard, 20% still John?
We go to the final 5 minutes of the first half. Julius goes right.
Power. Wagner again.
He could make 25 out of 30. Well, Chris Heddy, their beat writer, pointed out that his freshman, sophomore, and junior seasons, he missed less than 21 free throws.
Getting into the lane. Justin Arns will check in for the Buckeyes. Oh, what a pass. Davis with a nice reverse.
7 or 8 games, plus the latest NBA trade deadline news. Long read. Nickname that he's kind of had for a few years, the Big Sleep. They call him Sleep. He's a kind of a low-key cat. Doesn't have
spot. It'll trickle down throughout the lineup.
Exactly.
The Michigan team that had to replace its top 3 scorers from last year already. Of course, a new head coach. Here's Brandon Johns, the immediate beneficiary. 5-point game. As Simpson looks for room, backs it out. Continuing his search, he finds Wagner, who's open for 3.
man post up. He discarded John Teskey. I love the way Illinois used the ball screen to overload the zone.
Simpson to Teskey.
By the end of the night, depending on results elsewhere, but a loss would be very damaging. They go to
Nick Calster on the screen for the screener action, but it's one-on-one on the post, and John Teskey sells the ball.
Michigan is getting outstanding shots, but just not able to knock it in.
Simpson in and out dribble. Gets down the lane.
11 offensive rebounds in the game. That's led to 15 second chance points. And the second half shooting, especially from deep, has been much better.
Wagner around and out.
Wiggins and Ayala. 10 points for Wiggins. Ayala has 9. That is something that's always going to help Cowan and stick Smith out, and it has today. Wagner for three.
Defensive end, Brandon, and they really need to make some shots. Of course, that's obvious, but if Rutgers can shoot the ball well, then this suddenly becomes a very dangerous team.
But they are 10th in the country, to your point, in field goal percentage defense. That is Steve Peichel in this club's DNA. Michigan going into Teskey.
Offensive boards, that's the place where Michigan was really concerned. You have to rebound the ball if you get the stop initially on the defensive end.
Indiana, third in the Big Ten in rebounding, plus 7.5 coming into this game. Simpson running the point. Livers cuts to the basket, doesn't get the.
Was really aggressive and did a great job of getting into the paint against Wisconsin. It's a great sign to see him coming off a game where he's confident and playing to his strengths. I think a lot of guys don't always do that.
That confidence into this matchup with Jon Teske, saying the key is to be the tougher and more physical player, especially on ball screens, Dan.
All right, Molly, thank you. And we do expect a very physical game, especially with the big guys inside.
Boy, they got a floor general in Xavier Simpson that's as good as any, and they have too many guys who have won a ton of games in this league to just lay down on the road. As you say.
Baltimore, Allen from Bowie, Maryland, basically local products. It's the way they like it here at Maryland. Livers, that goes.
This crowd is as loud as they have been all afternoon long. Every seat is filled. Wagner triple.
Don't see Simpson make a turnover like that. But again, you turn the ball over, you take bad shots. The other team is going to get out and go.
Simpson, who's got the ball, is an Ohio kid. He has never won a game in Columbus. The fake that tried the scoop.
John's a starter for the time when Livers was out earlier in the season. Had some huge games, had some very big games back in January. Another few.
For 26 coming in on the road, he made it like he's, I was going to say Steve Alford, but that's an old reference.
And who's kidding who? You don't care if people at you. You want people to at you. How about this?
2 points, and you had all of them.
I got to ask you, Joe. Michigan's won 6 of 7. What do you see as their seeding ceiling here going into the Big Ten tournament?
It's a great question because
Young, and so they'll put Dwayne Washington in there. So 3 guards start for the Bucks.
And Eli Brooks back is a formidable looking character with that net.
8-0 Buckeye run. Back to a 4-point advantage. Brooks chased by Walker, takes it up with a floater.
Drive, but Walt is active. He's aggressive. He and Reavers were high school teammates. I think he's going to be a terrific Big Ten player when he gets stronger and shoots it.
Livers with a wide open 15.
And Purdue's only down 13 points.
It was midway in the first half. They had their last turnover. 2 total for Michigan. Livers thought about the
I thought he should have shot it. And that's that roll and rise action again. But why shoot it when you can get foot on the line? It's a 2. Geo Baker has 4 of the 6 for Rutgers.
They all count the same.
Good kick out. Franz Wagner, beautiful pass.
Lead for the Wolverines. 4 players at the scorers table if we get a stoppage. Xavier Simpson between his legs with the dribble, goes to the basket, lays it in.
Personality and toughness and want to. Franz a little more perimeter open. You can't leave him. I don't care if he misses that one.
He's become the maestro, asking for the crowd to raise the decibel level. Wagner.
Keep in mind, Isaiah Livers was out with an injury. Xavier Simpson had a 1-game suspension. He didn't play. They're both. Whoa! Now has 9. Yeah, you mentioned time at Marquette and Florida Gulf Coast. And finishing up his career in Lincoln, Nebraska. Tap back, Livers. Second.
Got to attack the basket here.
Teske, instead, he'll take a 3.
And the big problem for his team today is to try to keep Xavier Simpson out of the lane.
Wagner. This is Franz Wagner, who is the younger brother of Mo Wagner. And that's a 3.
And it's going to keep the crowd out of it and kind of stave off these Purdue runs.
Boy, that's a goaltender.
Guarded by Rocky Watts, who just checked in for the first time. The talented freshman out of Detroit delivers deep. And
there's a reason you're open.
Simpson, what a feed to Brooks, the runner, not going to go.
Livers, free.
To me, I always thought Wisconsin did a really good job of being solid, not turning the basketball over, and understanding exactly what they were.
He's guarded. He's taken on Livers and gone hard all game.
That's a tough matchup with a guy like Livers. Livers has 9, but he's had to work for it. Wagner gets it to.
I think for Purdue, the body language certainly a little puzzling right here. They're still in this game, and Xavier Simpson has
injuries this year. And he's on a pitch count.
Yeah, it's funny when he came back against Illinois, beautiful pass inside and out to John.
Loose ball batted.
We told you Franz Wagner has 8 rebounds. The freshman has already tied his season high 12 minutes into the game. DeJulius elevates, too strong, followed by
that type of pain. And he talked about his history with the shoulder. Good to see him back on the court. Clearly somebody that Minnesota really needs.
David. Back his body. I mean, you have to go right into it. I don't care how big you are. That's really your only hope. If there's some airspace, he's going to block that more times than not.
Try to take advantage of the freshman who draw a game. You thought that would be key, and it worked out there.
Well, they've had some open ones. They just haven't made them.
Teskey, mid-range. Ooh, fairly